Detroit is a unique city with a rich criminal history. The city was once prosperous, but when industry fled, poverty and crime rates exploded. Not only is Detroit a struggling city, but it has some of the loosest gun laws within the United States. Purchasing a firearm is super simple. Firearms are readily available and almost everyone is packing. Also, breaking and entering is a big issue within the city. Many firearms are stolen from legal owners by criminals and make their way to the black market. Similarly to other inner-city locations scattered around the United States, there is a lack of conflict resolution within Detroit. Many people immediately turn toward grabbing a firearm to resolve minor disputes, and inevitably, people lose their lives because of this. Many residents in violent neighborhoods suffer from PTSD. In addition to this, most residents refuse to call the police or even interact with them because of a number of different reasons, one of which is the well-known snitch label. With mental health issues manifesting into violent altercations, it should come as no surprise that Detroit has an insanely high murder rate. One such statistic of the ongoing violence in the city was a rapper by the name of Dex Osama. His real name was Byron O'Shay Cox. His violent death stunned Detroit because he had only recently blown up, gaining popularity within the city. Osama was part of a crew known as Choppa Boys. This name comes from the assault rifles that many young men like to wield within Detroit. Osama had the backing and cosign of two well-known recording artists. These were Detroit's Dej Loaf and Philadelphia's Meek Mill. Their power and influence would have tremendously helped Osama, who was really in his rap career infancy. Dex Osama was reportedly involved in the street life and rapped about typical aspects of this, like guns, violence and murder. A reported rumor was that he had robbed his plug for $200,000. Before the man could seek revenge, he died of cancer. This $200,000 was used to fund his rap career. Just how true this rumor isn't clear, but Byron was always flashing money and firearms on social media. Like many on social media, he wanted to floss and portray his success for the world to see. Regardless of the authenticity, the rumor didn't diminish from Osama's aim of becoming a major rapper, so that he could escape the violent city and make a fortune. He is known for shooting a gun during a music video, and his negative behavior contributed toward his popularity. The energy that he put out was attracting the attention of opposing groups within the city. Inevitably, problems between the groups led to clashes and violence. Byron Cox was raised in the Dexter-Linwood neighborhood on Detroit's west side. He was described as a quiet child, who always kept to himself. Byron was a chubby child who loved to eat snacks, with his mother saying that he was greedy. Growing up, Byron was fascinated with guns and looked up to his uncles, many of which were involved in the criminal lifestyle. His uncles were always carrying firearms, and perhaps because of these influences, Byron would often sleep with a water gun underneath his pillow. His mother once confronted him about this, and Byron just chuckled to himself. In his early teenage years, Byron began rapping and went by the name Young Dex. Just like his gun obsession, music fascinated him in much the same way. According to his mother, when Byron's second uncle was murdered, his behavior abruptly transformed for the worst. Byron became increasingly angry, and judging by his future behavior, it is safe to say that he would become irritable over the smallest of things. Losing a close family member to gun violence is troubling to any teenager, and Byron ultimately spiraled down a path toward self-destruction. It has been said that he became heavily involved in criminal activity. The true extent to which is shrouded in mystery. Byron called up his mother early one morning to ask her about a nightmare that he'd just had. He asked her if she just had a feeling about him, with his mother telling him that she had indeed experienced something terrifying. Additionally, Byron's friends had apparently noticed a shadow looming over him whilst he was sleeping. Shaking in fear, Byron's mother told him that he had death on him. Byron infamously rapped about the troubling experience in a rap video titled Death on Me. Could this have been an eerie prophecy? Byron met up with his girlfriend Chantel at her workplace, a Detroit strip club named the Crazy Horse. Chantel was terrified to perform for anybody in the club because she was fully aware of Byron's temper. He was jealous of any man who wanted to speak to her. It is surprising that Byron was with her given her profession. Even though you can tell why he was dating her, it makes you question why he'd put himself in this position, given his inability to control his emotions. Dex Osama lost it and got into a verbal argument with a group of men. He'd seen Chantel prepare to dance for a man and signaled for her to quit it. Chantel stopped and Dexter angrily poured champagne over her. He informed her that they were leaving, and whilst she was out back getting changed, Osama got into another verbal altercation in the club. Words led to pride problems and impulsive action. Osama pulled a pistol and fired into the club. People scrambled and a mad dash ensued, with patrons of the club running outside. Dex Osama can be seen on CCTV surveillance leaving the club, waving a pistol in the air. It was by the exit that a man, identified as Otis Davis, pulled a gun on Osama and shot him in the chest. Osama fled in pain and 25 shots went off following the initial shooting. Osama made it to a gas station before collapsing on the ground. He was comforted by his friend Tato, also part of the group Choppa Boys. As he lay bleeding out, Byron said that he loved Tato and vice versa. Soon after, Byron was transported to a hospital. Left reeling at the scene, Chantel had heard a gunshot and left the club to find Byron gone. Byron had already been taken to hospital. Chantel made it to the hospital but Osama died a short time later. A police investigation led to the arrests of two men, Otis Davis and Dietrich Odoms. They were charged with multiple crimes related to Osama's death including open murder, assault with intent to murder and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. CCTV footage contradicted the murder charge because it appeared as though Byron initiated the confrontation by firing inside and outside the club. Subsequently, the two men accepted plea deals. The shooter Otis Davis got a manslaughter charge. Dietrich Odoms was handed down an even shorter sentence. The murder of Dex Osama was tragic but preventable. It goes to show you the problem of too much pride and easy access to firearms within Detroit. Realistically, Dex Osama should have been alive today and had the potential to free himself and his family from Detroit. He was fully aware of his anger issues but insisted on dating a stripper, whose job was to dance with other men. Hopefully, everyone can learn from his mistakes and progress toward a positive future.